Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Happy Wednesday. So, this has been a really full, very amazing week for me with lots of new experiences, opportunities. I have been both the student, sorry about that, both the student and the teacher. Jeff, can you take care of the dog? He usually doesn't do this. Something's going on. We must have like a pool person here or something. So it is a very dreary, rainy day in Florida, and it reminds me of why I moved to Florida from Philadelphia. It's a very Philadelphia November day. So even the dog doesn't like it. He's trying to get in because it's yucky. So my ADD took me totally off course. Carolyn says, "Hi, stud." So yes, I took a 3-day certification on a modality called theta healing. It was super interesting. I went basically to support my sister because she flew down here to go to the training to be a healer, to do the energetic work. I didn't go for the energetic work. I went to have the work done on me because I have carried through my entire time on this planet, a money story that I'm really struggling to shake, and I'm getting better, but I'm a work in progress. I am a complete and total control freak. I've been working on that. There's a lot of things that I've been working on, and this workshop was amazing. So that was on a personal level of me, doing personal growth work. Then I had my monthly call with my Hair Color Secrets insiders, and we had a very special guest, the one and only Michael Cole. And when I tell you, I've been following Michael Cole since the very early days of my career in my 20s. When I first met him, he taught me about upselling to my clients, planning out my day, not accepting what's on the book, making sure to talk about options with my clients, how to get referrals. I can go on and on and on. But I called him on the call, the Lady Gaga / Madonna of the hair industry, because every decade he reinvents himself and brings something to our industry that is needed. He has the ability, as in his words, to peek around the corner and see what's next, what's coming, what are the trends, what do we need to be aware of. So he was sharing something that I've never really taken the time to think about, talk about, or research about generations and the naming of all the generations. You have Generation X, Generation Z, the millennials, boomers, all of those things. I don't really talk in those terms. But what was so interesting to me was he brought up a pocket of a generation that I didn't realize that my kids are in. It's that Generation C, and it's that they were born into the technology. Like, I still remember the first time I ever went on a computer and was like, oh my gosh, what is this internet thing? I remember the AOL sound of the dial up, and it used to take forever to log on, and we'd all be fighting over getting to the computer to see what we could find on there. So it seems like a lifetime ago, but it really wasn't that long ago that the internet was born. But our children don't know what it's like to not have a GPS talking to them on their phone that's free, that they can never get lost. My kids and I went to Southeast Asia, and we could look up a restaurant and walk to it in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Cambodia. It's crazy. It's amazing. But we talked about on last week's coffee chat how there's a lot of negatives to technology, artificial intelligence, and all those things. So before I go down a major rabbit hole, I loved having Michael Cole as a guest in the Insiders. So why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you because I realized this week when my virtual assistant said, "What's your topic this week for a coffee chat?" I was like, well, we are in launch period for the Insiders. We're, welcoming new members in. So I really should talk about that, because now that I think about it, I talk about a lot of things on here, but I don't really tell you what the Insiders is. I refer to it because Susan's on here, Elaine's on here, Pam's on here, Doris. There's a ton of you on here, but there's also a bunch of you on here that have no idea what I'm talking about. So today I wanted to do two things. I want to show you what the Insiders is, like what the heck is it that I'm talking about? and show you the behind the scenes, because I can talk about it all day long. I can have Pam or Julie or one of the other insiders that are on here, do a testimonial and tell you, oh my gosh, it's great. And, it's been great for my career, all those things, but you're still like, but what is it? So because I struggled so much with hair color early in my career, it took me 20 plus years to get the information, the understanding, and the confidence that I now have as a colorist. And that was not necessary. And I'd love to tell you that it has changed since then, because I went to beauty school in 1986. But I'm sorry to be here telling you it has not. I'm in the middle of a workshop. I have 255 people with me in a 3-day workshop. Last night was session 2. At least 3 people got onto the Q&A and said, thank you for doing this, because I've been out of school 10 years and I've never heard this before. And that really hits me in the gut every time I hear that, because it's not necessary for it to just continue to be this way. We shouldn't have to pay $25,000 or more for a beauty school tuition, only to be told, okay, now you're safe. You make sure that you know how not to give people AIDS. You know how not to cut people. You're safe. We've passed you on a safety level, but good luck with doing the client thing. I wish you luck. I hope you can figure that color thing out. That was my experience. And unfortunately, it's what I hear others' experiences are now. A lot of beauty schools have turned into phantom salons, where the owner of the beauty school is like, wow, this is a really cool thing. I can charge people 25 grand. I can throw a textbook at them, tell them to read it themselves, give them a couple tests that have been around since 1970, have them pass those tests, and then they'll go to boards. You don't even have to do a physical state board anymore in my state. It's just a written, so anybody can do it. And it doesn't even show if you know how to section the hair, if you know where to start a bleach retouch, if you know how to do a root retouch, a regular single process, whatever. So the system is broken. So I spent probably 15 of my 36 years in the industry bitching and moaning and complaining about what beauty school wasn't doing. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to get my teacher's license, and I'm going to go teach in the beauty schools, and I'm going to do it the way that I would want someone to teach me. So I went down that rabbit hole and I called the school near me and I said, I want my teacher's license. I want to help people. This is something that's like been put in me from a higher power. I know I'm meant to do this. And I go to the beauty school and I shadowed for the day, and I was like, I have to curse here. What a shit show. What a shit show. I could not believe my eyes. So I said, tell me what this looks like for me to get my teacher's license. They said, well, you have to come full time for 6 months. I want to say it was $18,000 10 years ago, $18,000 full time for 6 months. And the average salary at our school is $24,000. I was making over $100,000 behind the chair. So as much as I wanted to help people, I also wanted to feed my family and pay my mortgage and, take my kids on vacations and give them Christmas presents. So I was like, well, this isn't the answer, but I don't know what is. So then I turned the upstairs of my salon into a classroom, and I started doing these 3-day boot camps. It was 8 hours a day, because I'm intense. I like to share a lot of information. 8 hours a day, 3 consecutive Mondays. And what happened was, one of the magazines, I think it was Beauty Launchpad and the Colorist magazine both picked it up and said, this person is passionate about helping other colorists. She's doing this 3-day boot camp. It's in her salon in Pennsylvania, and it's 3 Mondays in a row. And people were like, I live in Chicago. I live in Canada. I live in like people were saying, like, how the heck can I fly to Philadelphia for a Monday class, fly home, and then come back the next week? So I was like, well, I really didn't think that one through. I think I was thinking small, because I tend to do that. And I was thinking, oh, I can help people in my area. And then my husband's like, you're putting in a classroom, you're spending all this money, you're spending all this time, and you're now teaching your competition. You're teaching the salon down the street how their hairstylists how to be better colorists, and you have a color specialty salon. So I'm like, well, now that's not working either. So I kept going through all of these iterations of like, how can I help people and still be successful and sustainable as a business person? So I did one more boot camp, and I had a videographer come and he put it on a CD. It was on a disc. And I was like, people are going to buy my CD of that 3-day workshop and they're just going to love me. And I had it done and I put it in the CD player, which doesn't exist anymore, or DVD player. And I'm looking on the screen and I'm like, this is torture. 8 hours of listening to my froggy voice talk about I'm dumping 30 years of knowledge into an 8-hour class. And you could see the look on the students' faces like, when is lunch? When can I get up and stretch? And when can I get the hell out of here? Because this is too much. It was like drinking out of a fire hose. They loved the information. They loved me. They loved the whole thing, but they were like, this is too much. This is too long. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to promote that DVD because that is torture. And this is technology is improving as I am improving. So I would ask my clients, I'm like, I want to help more hairdressers. And the information that I want to share is information that's never going to change. It's not like I'm going to have to update this every 6 months because it's fundamental universal laws of chemistry that are never changing. It's been the same since the beginning of hair, since Cleopatra was putting, coal in her hair. Like the laws are the laws. It's color in general, like an artist's color or, hair color, same thing. So I started asking clients that were in the corporate world. I'm like, you do conference calls, right? Like you talk to people in other states and you do meetings. They're like, yeah. I said, how do you do that? How can I do that? This was probably 10 years ago. So pre-COVID, everyone having Zoom on your phone and knowing how to use it. None of us did. So she's like, well, we have to go in a shuttle from our office to a place that has this conference service. And we sit at a long boardroom table and they have a big screen and they put the person up on the screen. And then we all have, and I was like, well, I can't do that. How am I going to do that? That's okay. That's not going to work. And I just kept trying and trying and trying. And then I started doing the hair shows. I started, applying to be a teacher at a hair show, schlepping all my stuff to a show, getting on a plane by myself, teaching by myself. I did hook the microphone up by myself. They wouldn't even give me an extension cord. That's a whole other story. So I was starting to gain traction. I was starting to grow an audience and I was starting to have people pay attention. Like, wow, this woman is really giving a lot of value about hair color that makes sense. And she's doing it free. I have a YouTube channel. I have a podcast. I was on Periscope for a straight year, every single week, like I am here. So I kept giving, growing this audience. And I said, I need to put all of this information in one place so that every single hairstylist that needs and wants this information can access it in one place at their own pace. That's a very important part of it, at their own pace. Because when I talked about that workshop, there were some people that were like, oh, it's only been 8 hours. What's next? Let's do a model. Like they were into it. They were in it to win it and they wanted to hang out. Most of them were like, doing the slumping down in their chair, getting up, drinking coffee, drinking more water, like trying to stay awake. But everybody's different, right? And some people are visual learners. Some people are audio learners. Some people have to be hands-on to learn. The beauty of the Hair Color Secrets Insider is it's every single one of those things. Some lessons are just a PDF document that you read, and that's on purpose because that's a certain type of learner can only learn by reading it. My son, I'll tell him, oh my gosh, wait till you hear this text from whatever, and I'll start reading. He goes, give me your phone. He's like, I can't listen to you read it to me. I need to read it. That's his thing. So I have created this, library with the intention of reaching every single type of learner. And it was strategic on purpose. It was, I went to gurus and coaches and like, what's the best way that I can make this information not so boring? And how can I condense it so that it's not an 8-hour torture session? So it's something I'm very proud of. I have, so many of my people who have joined the Insiders. I've been with them for now 3 and 4 years, and I've watched them blossom and grow, and how proud I am of them from taking a library of information. And I'm not going to lie, there's people who've been with me 3 years who've never opened the library. They've just never done it, but they keep coming back because they've joined the next level of coaching where they have me coaching them every month in a live session. The boot camp that I'm doing right now, we do a live Q&A after the teaching session. I go with them in Zoom where I can see them because I want them to see what a coaching call looks like, feels like, what the experience is. We stayed on last night for 2 hours and 15 minutes in the Q&A. People did not want to go to bed. We didn't get off until 10:30 at night. And I'm happy to do that because that's my passion. That's what I love to do. And the theme throughout the whole entire thing is, oh my gosh, where has this information been? I've never looked at it that way. Oh my gosh, I tried this on my client after session 1 and oh wow, why do they not teach that? It's that same thing over and over again. So when you hear something once, you're like, oh, okay, that's just their question. When you hear it twice, you're like, okay, this is starting to be a trend. When you hear something 3 times, you know that it's a thing, that people are in pain and they need help with that thing. So that is what the Insiders is. It's 10 different modules, and I'm going to show you. Here's the sneak peek. So let's walk through it. So I'm not going to go crazy and bore you and go into major detail with each thing, but this is what your dashboard looks like. So in order to log in, you simply type in, once you belong, you type in expertcolorsolutions.com. That's my website. And then the hash mark / login. And then when you go in there, it'll ask you for your email and your password that you created. So the community right here on the right-hand side, that is our Facebook community. That's where you will be with other like-minded hairstylists that are trying, that want to become better colorists. So you get the relationships, and the community piece is huge. That's why people stay around for so long. The same people that were my OG alumni beginning people are still with me today. And we're in our 5th year of offering this library. So podcast, you can get right to my podcast right here on the side. And then this is where the modules are. So it starts off with how to use your course. So I always recommend that people start here. It'll tell you, please stay in order. This has been written on purpose, in everything in a row on purpose, because if you don't have hair color formulation as your foundation, I can teach you, module 4, highlighting techniques to set you apart all day long. But if you're not formulating properly, it doesn't matter if you have the right highlighting technique, the color is going to fall flat and not be what you were looking for. So of course, hair color formulation is first, but I want you to see, this does not mean one video of hair color formulation. When you click on this, this is what is in here. All of these things, these are all separate. This is an entire session. This is a whole 3-part formulation series. Then it's a deeper dive. Then it's, it does your volume of developer make a difference? Then all about kicking brass, formulating, that's all in one module. And then when you go into application, again, all of these things. So we talk about removing stains, avoiding stains, slipping and bleeding foils, proper rinsing, how to do men's color. I could go on and on and on. The power of Demi. If you know me, I'm super passionate about Demi and how I feel like it's the most underused and underrated, amazing tools. That is like my absolute favorite thing to use. So if you're not using Demis, you should be at least intrigued by that. All kinds of highlighting techniques. I teach techniques that are my creation. I do an 18 foil money piece. I do a zigzag. I do couture highlight retouch. I do intentional dimension. That's one of my absolute favorite techniques. Inside intentional and dimension. Like you see all these things, all these different things. It's a lot of information. So that's why I say at your own pace, because there is business strategy in here, pricing strategy. Someone on the call, because we're all ADD, it was Q&A, and it was supposed to be about brassy hair and how to avoid it, session 2. And people are like, how did you become 100? How did you make 6 figures only working 3 days? And I'm like, I am more than happy to answer that for you, but let's stick with the answers to the questions for this particular class, because everybody wants everything and they want their things answered, but you need a community and a coach. I can't even tell you how important it is to have that support. Here's Susan. If you're thinking about it, just do it. Stop wasting your money on Starbucks. And I see you're coaching for me. Stop wasting money on Starbucks and useless things and put it towards Elaine's library. You will no doubt learn so much. She truly cares and wants to help you. Just do it. Thank you for that, Susan. That means a lot because, like I said, I could sit here and tell you how amazing it is. It's everything that I felt that I was lacking in my own career and what I spent upwards of, I would say it's safe to say, at least over my 36 years, at least six figures on my hair color education. And I say hair color because for 17 out of the 36 years, I was specializing in color and I was not cutting anymore. I was not perming anymore. I was not doing relaxers or anything else. So I put all of my income and passion and all of my energy into always concentrating on learning color. So I took away all the nonsense that isn't necessary and isn't true, because there's a lot of BS floating around out there and misinformation. And I take it away and I say, you know what? You don't need this. Don't even worry about it. Just ignore it. People get, I call it like education confusion, where you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, and I'm totally distracted by all the social media and it makes me crazy. But you'll go on and watch a video and you see like a little tease of something and you're like, oh, this looks interesting. And then they don't finish showing you the after, or they didn't show you the whole entire technique. So it's like this tease of breadcrumbs, and then you're constantly trying to put it all together. So when I was learning balayage, I was so frustrated because I started with the queen herself, Nancy Braun. When I researched it, Beth Minardi was always my mentor. And when I asked her about balayage, she was honest enough to say, I'm not good at balayage. I'm not your person for that. You want Nancy Braun. So I went to New York to see Nancy Braun. I went and took her class 3 times because I am not a quitter. It was true open air balayage with the sweeping motion. I lost all fingerprints on my fingers. I had bleach burns all over my fingers. I had cotton up my nose, all over my cape, all over my doll head, all over it was a mess. But I was like, I know this is going to be the next big thing. I'm talking, this was like 15 years ago. I'm like, I know this is going to be the next big thing. And I want to be the only one in my area that does it, so that we can just explode as a color specialty salon, because nobody else is going to know how to do it. So I did it and did it and did it. And I never really got great at it. But one of the girls in my salon that works with me, she has a different approach. I'm more systematic with my colors. She's more artistic. So I started sending her to become the expert. And now she's the one that teaches it in my library. So if I don't feel like I am the best at something, I'm not going to BS you and be like, oh, look, here's me doing this. Johnny will tell you, he's seen me do, balayage. I'm really not that good at it. And what I did was, instead of saying, okay, I'm just going to pretend that I'm good at it, I created a technique that I've, labeled in humor my bullshit balayage technique, because I can get the exact look of a balayage using foils, but it's not your typical teasy foil that you see all over TikTok and Instagram. It's a completely different technique. It utilizes clay lightener in some spaces, powdered lightener in other spaces. It's 3 different techniques that I got. One part of it from Ian McCabe, my, hero in hair color. The other part from Tracy Cunningham, who does J-Lo and Cameron Diaz and all the stars. And the third part from Johnny Ramirez, who's the Beverly Hills colorist. So 3 different trainings that I went to, I came home and created this technique, bringing all 3 together. And you can only learn it in the Hair Color Secrets Insiders. I got obsessed with creating a thicker appearance on fine hair. I was like, I have to figure out how to do this, because women can't this is what happens. Fine-haired women want more hair. So fine-haired women get extensions. What happens when a fine-haired woman gets extensions is her real fine hair starts to break, and now she has less hair, right? So instead of trying to put not fake hair, instead of adding, pieces of human hair that are from someone else's head, I created this intentional dimension textural highlighting, where I'm actually mimicking light and dark within a hair, so that it makes a fine-haired person look like they have a ton of hair. It's like my favorite um, technique. So these are things that, are special to me and my program. Oh, here's another one. Thank you, Lori. So Lori has been with me. She's saying this membership was the best decision I've ever made for my business. And Lori is one of the early adapters to my salon concierge. So she had a meeting with Jack yesterday, and I'm so proud of her because even though she's crapping her pants because it is an investment in herself and her business, she has made the decision to move forward and she will not be sorry. When I tell you the results that we're getting with this program, we had to turn off the system for our salon. Lux Color Lounge, our salon, is the beta test for the program. So we did it for ourselves first to make sure that it works, to make sure that we're getting, tangible, measurable metrics. And it blew up. The girl that we're promoting in the salon had to turn, it's like a faucet you can turn on and off with new clients. We had to turn it off. She has 41 people in her wait list. It's like a backlog. We call it a pipeline. There's 41 people in the pipeline waiting to get an appointment with this girl who had no clients when we started this. She is less than 2 years out of beauty school and she is slam booked with a wait list. And we've only done it for her for 1 month. So 1 month investment, she is like booming and overflowing. And we're also tracking the results of, are they just coming once and leaving? No. They're coming once, they're rebooking. So we have all the metrics. So if you want to check it out, please, reach out. But I'm getting off track, but I'm really proud of you, Lori, because I know how scary it is when you're a sole proprietor. You only have so much for your budget, but it's like, do you want to get there fast or do you want to get there slow and painful? Because here's the deal. And I'm going to say this in regards to joining the insiders or doing the salon concierge thing, whatever it is that you're looking to do to improve your business. Money is always the big issue. It bubbles up for all of us. I started this whole coffee chat saying I'm working on my money story that I inherited from my parents. It's really difficult. However, when you look at money as an exchange of energy, I've had times where I've given away my service to someone in need. I'm like, I know you can't afford it right now. I know you really want your hair done. This is on me. The outcome was they never came back to me as a paying client. It created this level of discomfort of almost like they owe me or something. I can't put my finger on it, but it happened multiple times. It wasn't just a one-time thing. So I started to really think about it. And with this workshop that I went to this weekend, they said, there's nothing wrong with doing, a pro bono, like doing something free, doing something, that you feel called to do. But instead of saying, oh, it's on me, don't worry about it, you hand them your card when you meet them and they say, I need my hair done or whatever. You say, I would like to gift you a service. Here's my card. Call me for an appointment. I'd like to gift you your first service. My fee is $120, whatever your normal fee is. My fee is $125. I look forward to seeing you at your appointment. So you're letting them know that this isn't always going to be free. And I'm not saying you have to do anything free. I'm saying money is an exchange of energy. So if someone doesn't have any kind of exchange, it really, even though they're getting something from you, they leave feeling uncomfortable is the best way that I can explain it. So you definitely want to, moving forward, there's a decision you have to make. Could Lori get clients, on her own organically through the, the Instagram picture with the hair in the back and the thing that everybody's doing? Everybody's doing it. So could she get a client maybe once every 3 weeks that way? Absolutely. Could she get one every month from a random referral? Absolutely. But if you're looking to turn on a faucet and have your book, like if you're sitting for hours at a time and nothing's changing, you either have to invest in more time via pounding the pavement, going to Starbucks, handing things out, walking up to strangers. Like you have to either rock it old school and really go all in with your time, or you got to put up your money. And it just depends on what you have more of and what scares you more. To me, waiting 5 years to be busy and pounding the pavement scares me more than making an investment that I'm fairly certain is going to work out. And the worst case scenario is you try it and it doesn't work. And now like right now, if you don't do anything different, if you don't take this, hair color secrets insider, if you don't join the library and do all these things, that 2 weeks from now, a client's going to come in and you're going to be sweating and you're going to have heart palpitations and you're going to look at your coworker and be like, please help me out. I don't know how to do this. But if 2 years from now, you want to greet that same client with a big smile and say, welcome, I'm so glad you're here. This is what I do. I love to fix other people's mistakes. I'm a colorist. And have that confidence that anyone can walk in the door and you're going to know what to do. And guess what? If you don't, and you're in my inner circle and you're doing coaching with me, you're really going to know, because you're going to jump on a hot seat with me the night before she comes and you're going to say, okay, I've learned a lot in your library and I've learned a lot about all the fundamentals, but this really has me stumped. Help me. So I offer at every level. Either do it at your own pace, you have the library, have it. I think Johnny was on here saying he still goes back to the library, and Johnny's an educator. Johnny knows a lot. And he's saying, like, every once in a while, he's like, oh, wait, let me go back. Let me find his comment. Let me go back and revisit that. So it's nice to have it. And when you purchase it, you have it forever. So he said, yes, we're still here. I love going back and rewatching modules when I need it. So it's there for you forever. And another nice feature is there's an app on your phone. So if you're in the salon and you're like, oh, this is a perfect person for that intentional dimension. She has fine hair. I want to build in some, texture and some movement. Let me go on my phone real quick in the back room and see what she does in the middle of that. What was that thing she did again where she didn't put the low light all the way, that kind of thing. So it's with you on your phone. You can go in your phone. You can go on a laptop. You can go on a regular desktop. You can go on an iPad. Anywhere that you have internet, you have access to that library. And you have it forever. So it's a one-time investment. And for the rest of your career, you'll have every answer: how to raise your prices, how to become a six-figure stylist, how to dress in the salon for success. So many things other than color, but color is my main focus. So I am a certified trained life coach. And I don't talk about the life coaching piece that is in this library when I do my launches. I don't talk about that because it's overwhelming already for people that are hearing about it. They're like, wait, what is this? If I were to say, I'm going to help you be brave, I'm going to help you do regular price increases, I'm going to help you deal with that bully client that's walking all over you. I just got a message this morning from one of our members, Angie, and she was like, I'm torn between being a pushover and getting walked all over. And that's the reason why I'm so busy, is because I'm so accommodating. And I was like, oh, this like hits me in all the feels. I'm like, Angie, I so get you. And I've been you. And I also have shared with my inner circle members in our coaching calls how devastated I was and how hurt I was when I walked away from behind the chair at how my clients reacted to it. Like they completely dropped me like a hot potato, like I never existed. So all the people we go out of our way for are the ones that really are only being, in our world because they get something out of it. So that's where the life coaching comes in. And I'm able to talk to my members in a way that's like free therapy, basically. Like the emotional, fear-based decisions that we make as hairdressers is almost or more important than the actual hair color education. So I can't even explain how much value is there. You just have to do it and try it. And like I said, the worst case scenario is, that 6 months from now, people that are on this coffee chat right now are going to be in another workshop of mine yet again. That's the same workshop that I'm doing right now that they've been in 3 times before. Nothing has changed. And they're still not going to take the next step and get that library because of fear of the investment. But if they spent that money a year ago, they would never have to spend it again because they would get everything. It boggles my mind that fear is that powerful, that nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you don't do anything different, you're still going to be exactly where you are. So what's so scary about taking the leap? You already know how it's going to work out if you stay the same. And if it's not that you're making $100,000 and you're working part-time and you're living your best life, then what do you have to lose? It's only money, it's only energy. And money is a resource that is continually being returned to you. You put it out, it comes back. You put it out, it comes back. So when you're not putting it out, you're telling the universe that you don't have enough and you don't want any more, that you're filled. You're saying, I don't want any more. I'm good. I don't want any more. And then nothing more is going to come to you. So that is my 2 cents. John said, Elaine always has your back as an insider. That is priceless. Yes. And we need to talk because I have to send you your link. So yes, John has been a member. Julie has been with me several years. Mary, Carolyn, Stacy. There's so many of them on here. And the best part is they show up every Wednesday for this coffee chat. And this isn't part of the membership. You know, they just show up because they know that this is extra coaching that they don't even have to pay for, that is, you know, part of my brand. So that's a testament to me and a compliment to me that they're taking time out of their day to come and join me when they don't need to, when it's completely and totally separate from their time with me as an insider. So thank you for letting me rant and show off my insider library. Tomorrow is the final session of the 3-day workshop, and that is when the doors officially open. We only open them twice a year. April is the last time they were open, and now November. So there will be, I believe it's maybe 8 days from tomorrow that you have to join. If you're in the workshop, you already took that mini leap in joining the workshop and you said, I'm going to trust this lady and I'm going to hear what she has to say. So on the call tomorrow night, if you stay on live until the end, there is an offer that I'm making for you that I have never, ever made ever since I started this. It's like above and beyond anything I've ever done, because I don't want anyone, I want to make it like such an offer that you can't even refuse it for you, not for me. So that you say yes to yourself where you're like, wait, this doesn't make sense. This is like too good to be true. So that is happening tomorrow night. So if you're in the workshop, stay tuned and be on there live. And everyone who stays until the end of the workshop is getting that Get Pure from Gary sent to you as a special gift for leaning in, staying on, and showing up for the live. So there's that too. Then everyone listening, if you're not in the workshop, doors will be open. You're going to be getting emails. If you're on my email list, you're going to be seeing Facebook ads. You're going to be seeing it on Instagram. We're going to be blasting it everywhere because I want to help as many hairstylists have an amazing 2024 and stop sitting in your dirty damn diaper, sitting in your crap of, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out eventually. I'll figure it out eventually. Or I'll just keep praying, guessing, sweating, stressing, and I'm never going to get it. So I'm just going to give up color and I'm just going to cut hair. And from anyone who's just cut hair for a long time, you know that tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, torn rotator cuff from all that blow drying is going to get to you eventually. And you're going to wish that you had a higher ticket service that you felt confident in. So rant over. Thanks for watching. And I will see you guys next week, or some of you tomorrow night. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.